people that care the most and the greatest fans in the world, so obviously they're gonna have feelings about this, and certainly where we are, I understand that totally. I get it, and what we have to do is just play better and win some games and then go from there. But you know, that's the nature of this thing, and I get it, and most of the time I think people are involved like in any way because they care, and you already know that about this place, and that's the beauty of it. Wouldn't want to trade that at all. We just have to do better.
Now they do have to do better, and for more on how they plan to do better, we bring in Matt Davison now, joining us from our studio in Lincoln, Nebraska. Take me on campus right now, Matt. You're a man of the people. What's the temperature of the fan base right now?
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me. You know, in Lincoln, when you're 2-3, I guess it's safe to say that the panic button has probably been pressed. At the same time, you look at this football team, and they've found about every different way you can imagine to lose. They've played well enough to win most of these football games. Everybody feels like we should probably be 4-1 or 5-0. So I think there are some positives you can take from this football team.
Yeah, how close is the team to switching those few plays and being ahead instead of behind in the close games?
Well, you lose on a Hail Mary, then you lose in overtime, and then you lose a game that you felt like you were in control of nearly the entire game. So I think our players, I don't think they've really lost confidence at this point. I don't think they should have lost confidence. I think they feel like they've played well enough to win. There's just been a couple of things, mental errors, a couple of calls that could have gone either way that have gone against Nebraska. And here you sit at 2-3, and you feel like you're playing for your season here at home against Wisconsin on Saturday.
You're a former Nebraska player, so give me an inside the mindset of a player right now. I mean, if you were in that clubhouse, would you honestly be feeling more, gosh, we keep losing, or would you be, we're this close to winning those games?
I think I'd be mad, and I think that's the way our players are right now. You know, it's all mental right now. I think physically you can look at Nebraska's team and you can see that we probably had better players than at least 4 of the 5 teams that we played, and with Miami it was probably pretty equal. So I don't think it's a physicality thing right now. I think it's mental. And so where are you right now looking forward to the rest of the season? Do you look forward to trying to still win the West Division? And if so, then you come out against Wisconsin on Saturday and you play really well and you play hard and you're focused and you play sharp and you hopefully not have those mental errors at the end. And so that's really what it comes down to. There's still a long season ahead of us. You're probably going to be in a lot of close games, and so you're going to be faced with some of the situations you've already been faced with. Hopefully the guys deal with them better than they have the first 5 games.
What's wrong with the pass defense right now? Worst in the country in passing yards allowed per game.
Yeah, it's hard to be last, isn't it? I mean, it's really hard to be last. And I think a lot goes into that. I'm surprised at how many big plays we've given up. When you look at the secondary coming into the season, I really thought that was going to be a bright spot for Nebraska. I think we have a lot of great athletes back there. I think part of it has come down to the pass rush. You can't let a quarterback stand back there all day. And then also you got to make a play on the football when it's in the air. I think our guys have had decent coverage, but they haven't gotten a hand up. They haven't knocked the pass away. You haven't seen a lot of broken coverages or guys running wide open. It's really been where guys have just been beat by a step and the quarterback has made a good play and made a good throw. So I still have confidence in our defense. I still have confidence that this secondary can pull it together and do some good things. And really, when you look at the quarterbacks Nebraska plays the rest of the way, there's some good ones. But nobody that, other than Connor Cook, maybe where you say, hey, somebody might throw for 400 yards on you. So I think there's still some positives to take out of that secondary.
It was a positive for the offense and for the special teams that DeMornay Pearson-L came back last week. Didn't see a ton of him, though. Will we see more of him this week, you think?
You know, on the offensive side, I don't know how much you're going to see DeMornay as we go throughout the season. This weekend, maybe a little bit more than last weekend, but still his biggest impact is going to come in special teams. And last week was a tough game to come back. The wind was really blowing in Champaign, and he gets back there, fumbles the first punt. It's a tough way to start your season, but I think you'll see him back there on punt and kick return, and that's where he's going to make his biggest impact on this football team. We have pretty good wide receivers. Jordan Westerkamp's pretty good. We have other guys that have made plays. And so I think you'll see him in certain situations on offense, but for the most part, he's going to make his biggest impact on special teams.
You mentioned the Badgers are coming up this weekend. What should Nebraska's biggest concern be for that matchup?
Well, I think both teams are probably going to struggle to score a lot of points Saturday. You look at Nebraska offensively, and it looked like we were going to be a team that could throw the ball every week, and then you get to Illinois, and you don't throw it well, and then you find out maybe we can't run it. I think it's obvious that Nebraska wants to throw the football, but in this league, you have to have great balance. And somehow Nebraska has to find a running back that they can count on, a guy that's the go-to guy. And the other thing I think you look for from Nebraska is Tommy Armstrong to be more involved in the running game. If you're going to struggle with running backs and not finding a guy that's really the go-to guy, then I think you go to Tommy Armstrong and you make him a dual-threat guy. At this point, you're not worried about him getting hurt. You do what you have to do to win the football game. And that includes probably him running the ball and throwing the ball as well. But I think you're concerned about Wisconsin's defense. They're really good on that side. And we'll see which of these defenses comes up with a big play, maybe a short field for one of these offenses. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of points on Saturday.
He's Matt Davison. Great insight, man. Thanks as always.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.